Hello and welcome to Transformers Lore, the best series on YouTube to help you get a reference and understanding of various storylines, events, individuals, and more within this vast multiverse. This episode, we'll be taking a look at the events shown in Transformers Spotlight Shockwave, a comic that helped build the very foundations of the IDW Generation 1 universe. Let's get into this. Universe, Primax 1005.19 Gamma. The date right now is about 650,000 BCE on the planet Cybertron. The Second Cybertronian Civil War is underway and the Decepticon scientist Shockwave realizes that Cybertron's living on borrowed time. He realizes that this war will deplete Cybertron of its resources and leave the planet a husk. However, Shockwave refuses to sit back and witness the end of Cybertronian society. He decides to develop a program to help, a program called Regenesis. Shockwave undergoes this project in secret as he believes that no one will believe his warnings due to the war. Shockwave gathers raw energon and refines it into what Shockwave describes as a potent elemental catalyst. After modifying these samples of energon, Shockwave loads them onto special warheads and fires them out into the galaxy with the intention that these missiles will land on specifically targeted planets. I don't want to get too much into the backstory of the Regenesis project because that may be its own separate video, but this is really what we need to know for the story. One of the warheads lands on the planet Earth, in its prehistoric state. As the energon begins to be seeded into the planet, Shockwave lets the energon in his Regenesis program develop on its own for a bit, and continues to serve the Decepticon war effort on Cybertron. In fact, he gets himself into a battle with the Dynobots over a cache of energon. Once it appears that the Dynobots are getting the upper hand, Shockwave decides that if the Decepticons can't have the energon, then no one will. He destroys the energon, enraging the Dynobots, especially their commander, Grimlock. Grimlock even later goes on to have an argument with Autobot leader Optimus Prime over the incident, as he wants revenge, even though Prime wants him to just forget it. Moving on later down the timeline, it's around 8,390 BCE when Shockwave arrives on Earth to tend to his energon there. The atmosphere of Earth is damaging to Transformers because of the energon radiation, and Shockwave has managed to use some sort of technology to cloak himself to be safe. As Shockwave works on Earth, he has no idea that the Dynobots are in orbit. Grimlock has disobeyed an order from Optimus Prime, and had piloted his crew on the Skyfire to Earth, following Shockwave. Grimlock looks forward to payback when Slag stops him and notes that Earth is unsafe because of the energon radiation. However, Slag later comes to Grimlock with a solution. The Dynobots could cloak themselves with synthetic mammalian flesh, and assume beast modes to protect themselves from the atmosphere. Grimlock is reluctant at first, but finally gives in under the condition that Slag finds something more intimidating than the woolly mammals on the planet. Looking at evidence of fossils, Slag suggests they don the forms of dinosaurs. Grimlock approves of this plan. Back on Earth, Shockwave tries to call for his ship when it does not respond. Shockwave realizes that his ship was destroyed right when the Dinobots use an orbital bounce to arrive on the field, now equipped with beast modes. A fight breaks out between the Dinobots and Shockwave finds the assault to be completely illogical, as it was driven from a primitive emotion like revenge. During the battle, he manages to destroy much of the flesh on the Dinobots, leaving them with their endoskeletons exposed as metallic dinosaurs. But eventually, they fight to their last and Grimlock is the last to fall, exposed to the radiation on the planet. Shockwave decides that he'll take the Skyfire and de-encrypt it so he can leave, but he still did not factor in just how petty the Dynobots could be. See, as the Dynobots were ready to head out, Grimlock installed a command on the Skyfire without telling his fellow soldiers. The command was that if the Dinobots were to all be defeated, the Skyfire would launch a shot into the nearby volcano, and that is exactly what happens. As lava emerges from the catastrophic destruction, Shockwave finds himself along with the bodies of the Dynobots as they sink deeper and deeper, and Shockwave eventually shuts down. Eventually, the Decepticons take notice that Shockwave is missing. Megatron assigns Bludgeon the task of going through all of Shockwave's projects to find what he was up to during his absence. Now, let's flash forward to 2006 CE. In Eureka, Nevada, Professor Goring and his student Clive make a discovery during one of their excavations. They are utterly surprised to see that they've dug up the hand of Shockwave. So that wraps up this episode of Transformers Lore. I hope you've enjoyed. We've only touched the surface of the Regenesis project and what other experiments Shockwave was up to on Earth. If you'd like to learn more about these parts of Transformers lore and want to know where the story is going, feel free to subscribe if you like. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.